Hi, I'm Charlie Blackmer,
And I'm Anna Stout.
and we are both with the Foundation for Cultural Exchange. If you're watching this video, you probably know that. If not, welcome. This is our second video blog that we're doing for the FCE. And Anna, who is our president, is going to tell us a little bit about the trip she just went on to El Espino.
Yep. So we just got back a couple days ago with our alternative spring break trip. This is the 4th annual ASB trip that we've taken through the foundation in conjunction with Mesa Catholic from Colorado Mesa University and Immaculate Heart of Mary Church. And it was a really great experience. We took 3 college students and 2 high school students and one in the sponsor down, and really had a great time learning to be humble, which was really the focus of the trip.
So what do you mean by learning to be humble?
Well, this is considered, we call it a service trip, but it's not your traditional service trip or your traditional missions trip. The idea behind this trip is to go down and have our participants humble themselves, and as you know, using that humility as a form of service. And it seems really kind of counterintuitive and kind of selfish to say we're going down there to be served, but it's actually really critical, because what we're doing is we're changing the power dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So since we are coming from, you know, the developed world or the first world, traditionally people go down on what we would call mission trips or service trips to fix things or to build things or to take things, and we're trying to change that narrative. Because it puts us in the giving role and them in the receiving role, so you've got the superiority and inferiority that really doesn't help build the community's confidence or empower them or preserve their dignity. So we're trying to change that.
Well, I remember when I went down there with the FCE 2 years ago, and I mean, I know from knowing you, Anna, and from having been a board member with the FCE for almost 3 years now, I mean, I know that this humility has been really important word in talking about the types of trips that we do to El Espino. But, so I had that in mind, but I do admit, the first night that I was with my family in the community and we ate dinner and it was time to do the dishes and get dinner put away, my first instinct was to hop up and do the dishes and try to show that I'm helping out and I'm really grateful. And I just had to remember what you said, Anna, just, you know, let them give us the gift of giving their food, their generosity, their home, their hospitality. And it sounds really simple, but it actually is kind of a difficult thing to get used to.
It is, and you know, we talk about this a lot in our pre-trip meetings, which you probably remember, but we talk about the act of giving gifts and how when you give somebody a gift and you do it with, you know, that sort of genuine heart, to have it rejected is a really horrible thing. And so when we're working in this community where they don't have the material resources perhaps to give us gifts, but the gift that they can give us is that of opening their home and cooking for us and, you know, cleaning our dishes and our laundry and stuff, we would never take a wrapped gift and hand it back to somebody and say, no, thanks, I got this. But we do that all the time when we reject the gift of service or of, you know, an act of service. So that's what we're trying to change on these trips.
And so who was on the trip, or what were some of the experiences that you guys had?
Well, we took a group of the 3 college kids and the 2 high school kids, and the experiences were really, you know, what we traditionally do. We stay in the homes with the different families that are hosting us. We spend a day at the school getting to know the students and doing English lessons with them. We do a trip to a coffee cooperative to understand the, you know, the cooperative system and the plight of the small farmer in El Salvador. And we do a bunch of different activities with the scholarship students and their families that just remind them that we're here and that we've got their back and that we're pulling for them and that they're not alone in this.
Yeah. Can you think of any kind of trip highlights or maybe the most memorable part of your trip?
I think just sort of testament to what we're doing and the fact that it's working in its own way is that while we were at the school, one of the teachers pulled me aside and she wanted to say thanks for coming again. And what she said was, thank you so much for bringing another group and for coming down year after year. And she went on to say, and she started crying, and it was a really emotional moment for both of us. She went on to say that the situation in the country, as we know, is pretty ugly at times. There's a lot of gang violence. There's a lot of, murder and extortion and theft and violence. And she said, there are times where we don't even want to be here and we want to flee. And we see you guys coming down here, and you don't have to be here, but you choose to come down here. And she said, that gives us hope. And that gives us the feeling that we're not alone. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was significant because we forget, we want to go down there and come back and be able to say, we built a school, or, we installed a water filter. And we don't do that, but we can come back and know that just our presence and being there and putting ourselves on, level ground in solidarity really does make a difference for the community members down there.
And again, another really interesting and I think unique thing about the FCE is that, again, it's not a one-time service trip. Facebook is Facebook, but I am Facebook friends with a lot of the students that I met when I was down there. I see what they're up to in their lives. They see what I'm up to. We check in with each other. We say, hey, we'll maintain these relationships for a really long time.
Yeah, and they really do feel supported. They also have opportunities to practice English and to ask for help on things. And, those are the kinds of capital resources that we have that are so invaluable, and you don't realize what kind of contribution you can make when all you're giving is yourself. So that was our trip, and I think that we've had, of course we talk about what it gives the community, but I think that after speaking with some of the students who went on the trip and reading some of their blogs, which are on our website, it's a mutual change, and it's mutual in terms of, the transformation that happens in your own heart.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Well, speaking of that trip, speaking of communication, Anna and I and some of our great board members and volunteers have some letters to translate for our sponsors, probably a lot of you watching this right now.
So thank you so much for all of your love and support of the foundation and of our students down in El Salvador. And we'll be in touch soon with another video blog. Xiomara graduates on May 6th, so we'll definitely be in touch after that. And you can, in the meantime, keep up with us on Facebook and our blog.
All right, thanks for watching.
Thanks.